business, politics. We are out here to ensure that democratic institutions in Nigeria are functioning. We are giving all the support.
After the ceremony, which is seen as the last hurdle to becoming a full-time airman or woman in the Nigerian Air Force, many of the young men and women praised God for their dreams come true. Kaduna, Abdullah Muhammad, NTA News.
Stay talking security. The leadership of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has taxed its personnel on effective handling of weapons. Lydia Sampson reports that the Commandant General of the Corps, Abdullahi Gana Muhammadu, stated this during the personal parade of the 4th batch of officers trained on weapon handling from the Civil Defense Academy.
Beatrice Su is one of the 146 officers of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps who successfully graduated from the Civil Defense Academy in Abuja.
My rifle and my life are the defenders of my country.
Combat ready, she's not alone. The trainees all show commitment to duty and mastery in coupling and uncoupling their rifles even with their eyes closed. Their mission is to use their rifles to disarm the enemies of peace in Nigeria and protect critical national infrastructure.
Very significant to the Corps because we are doing the weapon handling training ourselves, unlike in time past when we used to go to other institutions to have it. The people were trained by our own personnel, so it just shows that the Corps has come of age.
And the essence of the training is to protect the nation, it's not to kill.
For 4 weeks, these gallant officers undertook training on weapon handling, and they have just made a solemn pledge to serve their fatherland with all their strength, and even to the point of paying the supreme price of laying down their lives if need be. At their graduation, they are good to go, as they say in the military, to wherever they will be posted with this solemn pledge. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And away from security matters, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, says it will not condone diversion of relief materials meant for internally displaced persons, as well as compromise its mandate of responding to victims of catastrophe across the country. Director General NEMA Mustafa Yunusa Maihaja made this assertion while presenting food and non-food items to IDPs in Banki, in Bama local government area of Borno State, who were repatriated from the Republic of Cameroon. Abubakar Mohammed Musa reports.
The presentation of food and non-food items to over 46,000 returnees by the National Emergency Management Agency is designed to ameliorate the sufferings of the people having lost their means of livelihood due to the activities of Boko Haram in the area. Aside the relief intervention to the people, the Director General NEMA Mustafa Yunusa Maihaja says he is required to make an assessment of Banki town in collaboration with members of the Presidential Emergency Food Intervention Committee in the Northeast with a view to restoring civil authority in the township, among other immediate humanitarian needs.
For now, the immediate needs of food, shelter, and clothing and other non-food items is what we are providing for them.
Presenting the items to each household at the camp, the NEMA boss told officials in charge of the distribution to make transparency and accountability their watchword. The beneficiaries commended NEMA for reaching out to them. The Director General was earlier received by the representative of the Commanding Officer 152 Battalion Banki, where he commended the Army for defending the territorial integrity of the country. From Banki in Borno State, Abubakar Mohammed Musa, NTA News.
Apologies for the poor audio quality of that report. Meanwhile, the federal government says it is working out modalities to enlist the released Chibok girls into the foundation program of the American University of Nigeria, Yola. Minister of Women Affairs Aisha Jume Al-Hassan disclosed this at a special dinner she organized for the Chibok girls and their parents. Ilyasu Ali Yakubu reports.
The 106 Chibok girls are to be engaged at the program by September this year, after which they will be integrated into the degree awarding programs of the institution. The minister said the federal government, in collaboration with the American University Yola and other organizations, are poised to ensuring quality education for the Chibok girls.
Because we have many people that want to support the education of the girls, in addition to, of course, government readiness. Government can support the education and has indeed promised.
Some of the Chibok girls thanked the federal government for the initiative and promised to make the country proud. The dinner provides an opportunity for the Chibok girls and parents to interact. Abuja, Ilyasu Aliakubu, NTA News.
Now, one of the fallouts at the just concluded National Council on Information is the need for stiffer legislation towards addressing the increasing rate of hate speeches in the country. Ndeyang Andea Bagyang reports.
In recent times, the media has been inundated with information that is heating up the national polity with regional agitations across the country. This necessitated the second extraordinary meeting of National Council on Information, which had information managers across the 36 states of the Federation. The meeting extrayed issues of hate speeches, fake news, disinformation, and national unity.
We have to make sure that we compel the media organizations to respect our unity. We need to take the interest of the nation and the interest of our people into consideration.
You don't need to hate each other. You don't need to misinform and disinform.
And ensure that all avenues should be used to create that love.
As a matter of fact, there should be legislation to control whatever you are posting on the social media.
It is quite a challenge for information managers because most of the hate speeches are online.
They were optimistic that the meeting will come up with resolutions and policies that will reorient Nigerians, the media in particular, away from hate speeches, fake news, disinformation, and ensure national cohesion. In Jos, Ndenyan and the Abuja, NTA News.
In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari will not move against those bent on tarnishing his image, as he is not on a revenge mission. A statement by the presidential spokesperson, Femi Adesina, says, as a reformed Democrat and a pious man, the president is on a corrective mission to take Nigeria to greater heights. Adesina advised the mongers, the hate mongers, calling the president all manner of names and wishing him dead, to desist from such acts and seek forgiveness. In its renewed effort to restructure the country's economy, the federal government, through the instrumentality of science and technology, is harnessing local production, which in turn will create wealth, provide jobs, and fight poverty. Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, stated this during an inspection of projects at the Engineering Materials Department Institute in Akure, Ondo State. Olubukola Aduwo reports.
The minister, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, who expressed satisfaction with the projects, advised that researches should be market-driven in order to make commercialization easy. He said for Nigeria to come out of recession, there is the need for a redirection from a resource-based economy to knowledge-based, which will make Nigerians more productive.
When that happens, it means now we'll be in a position to use science and technology to transform the natural resources we have into the goods and services that we need.
He has seen the success we have achieved. He has seen the project before us and also the challenges.
Some advocacy so that there will be awareness everywhere in the industry and in the academia. And through this, we'll be able to proliferate what we have.
Some of the projects inspected were hydropropeller turbine for electricity generation, 100 kg, 200 kg, and 500 kg rotary furnaces for melting melter, 3D machine, among others. In Akure, Olubukola Aduwo, NTA News.
The federal government has taken another step to boost access to water, sanitation, and hygiene by seeking the partnership of private sector. Minister of Water Resources Suleiman Adamu met with representatives of the organized private sector in Lagos on partnership for expanded water supply, sanitation, hygiene initiative of the government. Musbao Danwahab reports.
It is a reality that threatens the existence of over 50 million people in Nigeria who still do not have access to this basic commodity.
It's a shame that in this country today there is not a single city that can boast of 100% pipe-borne water supply.
Partnering the organized private sector becomes imperative as the federal government seeks indigenous solutions to rewrite the story of water and sanitation simultaneously. The minister, Suleiman Adamu's position was clear that government funding alone will not be sufficient, and the participants supported the stand as they dissect workability of a partnership.
Those who have that power and the financial resources, they must support the government to make sure that we have sustainable water supply to the poor.
13 states governments have signed up to the P-Wash arrangements, and the ministry believes the involvement of the private sector will be another boost for the initiative. From Lagos, Musbah and Wahab, NTA News.
Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Usani Uguru Usani, says the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, needs to be repositioned, particularly in the area of personnel, in order to ensure equitable and proper execution of projects in the region. He said this while briefing journalists in Abuja on matters arising from the presidential initiative on industrialization of the area. Joseph Johnson reports.
The minister deliberated on a wide range of issues, including allegations of contractual extortion in the NDC and excessively overvalued projects. He expressed readiness towards verifying the use of resources in the commission that have amounted to liabilities.
We negotiate contracts in such a manner that deliberately we don't ever want those projects to be completed. There's no interpretation to it, and that is the cause of all this.
Pastor Usani also reaffirmed federal government's unflinching move to revive moribund industries through engagement of private investors and state government in achieving the initiative of industrializing the region. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Jeffrey Onyama, says the relationship between Nigeria and the United Nations remains strong and looks forward to it being strengthened. Onyama disclosed this while receiving the UN Deputy Secretary General, Amina Mohammed, and her team in Abuja. He said the federal government is committed to the implementation mechanism for the Sustainable Development Goals. Onyama re-emphasized Nigeria's interest in Agenda 2063 of the African Union that is complementary to the UN's Sustainable Development Goals.
For the role they played in organizing with us and the governments of Germany and Norway in organizing in Oslo an international donors conference for the Lake Chad countries to address this humanitarian crisis.
Deputy Secretary General of the UN, Amina Mohammed, said addressing the peace, development and security challenges around the continent and the world at large remain important priorities of the organization.
Bring to your attention that there are still many issues where our women, and especially the girls, do need a special response in the camps. I think that the Nigerian government has done a huge amount to make them safe, to provide the livelihoods in terms of their feeding and nutrition, and those efforts are considerable from where we were a year or so ago to today.
To education matters now. Nigeria continues to be the undisputed leader in Africa, sending more international students to the United States. Acting Deputy Chief of Mission Aruna Amir Thanayagam, who was speaking during a pre-departure orientation to send off more than 140 students through the Education USA of the U.S. Embassy, Abuja, noted that Nigeria is also 14th in the world. Oku Ekpeyong reports.
The latest Institute of International Education Open Doors report shows that over 10,600 Nigerians study at more than 980 colleges and universities in the United States. This is a 12% increase over the previous year.
The Opportunity Funds program that I mentioned, essentially it removes the financial barrier to U.S. study for some of the most talented students in this country.
So with the Opportunity Funds program, as long as you are a high-achieving, academically talented student, not be having the financial means to afford the application process should not be a barrier.
The orientation of the successful students is to provide a guide while they navigate their educational pursuit in the U.S. These students are high-achieving, low-income students with full scholarships drawn from various schools in Abuja.
Okay, first of all, we know the quality of education offered in the United States of America is quite high, and it's a degree you could use anywhere in the world.
I just want to go in liberal arts and then find that particular thing that I most recognize, I most identify myself with.
Through the Education USA, the over 140 students have received partial or full scholarships worth over $6 million. In Abuja, Oku Ekpayong, NTA News.
And you can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Nigeria steps up in global aviation safety rating that places it amongst the world leaders in aviation safety. Next line of action is the attainment of level 4, which is 100% by the end of 2017. Our correspondents examined the measures in place towards ensuring that air transportation in Nigeria is sustainably safe and secure after this timeout. Stay with us.
Change does not just happen. You and I and all of us must appreciate that we all have our part to play if we want to bring change about. We must change our lawless habits, our attitude to public office, and public trust. We must change our unruly behavior in schools, hospitals, marketplaces, motor parks, on the roads, in homes and offices. To bring about change, we must change ourselves by being law-abiding citizens.
When the kings of African comedy gather under one roof,
there is only one outcome. Then we bring down the roof.
Come witness the craziest
and the funniest, the oh my God, and the baddest of them all. Laughter will scatter your brain well.
Come watch the biggest names in African comedy at Glow Laughter Fest. Basketmouth, Bovi, I Go Die, Sheyi Law, Gordons, Salvador, Osama, Bash, Kenny Black, and many more.
You will never have a bigger gathering of jaw-dropping, whip-cracking comedians under one roof. One microphone, one network.
All over Nigeria.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there.
I am gonna be there. I'm going to be there.
Live and direct.
For the time of your life. Will you?
To win a free ticket, use 2,000 Naira in a month and text LOL and your preferred location to 240.
Laughter Fest. Laugh go kill you, die.
True.
Glow Unlimited.
Hey, now who they here? My name now Mr. Shortcut. I dey mind my money. Now cheap one, I dey buy. Stand up, we sign. Now to buy cheap one. Hey, now one kind cable for my yard. A cheap building material where we take build my office. I think say I dey save money. Office building collapse and fire burn my house.
You don't see what happened to Mr. Shortcut? Well, Standards Organization of Nigeria, SON, don't ready for action and say enough of pain, loss and wastage. And if you see product where no dey correct, call the SON office where near you or SON help desk. Standards Organization of Nigeria, improving life through standards.
Small madam, Arikuwa.
Agaba! Obio! Carry on. Sit down. Apa, now waiting to do. There is smart going over here. Everybody want make I put them on top. You remember I just smart going when I charge 100 naira, then they give me 800 naira. You know what, bro? Now every end of the month, then they give me back all my recharge, what I don't recharge. At that time on us, from this one, no, we just jar out. That now, over Jara back to Senga. Over Jara back to Senga. Mama, this
Buy an Airtel SIM and get back all your recharges as data bonus by month end on Smart Connect.
Hey.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
We want to buy Indomie noodles. So fast, please.
Yo.
This is not my Indomie. Please, sir, if it's not Indomie, don't call it Indomie.
Sir, the taste is the difference. The difference is in the taste. That's why my brothers, my mommy, my daddy, and I all enjoy our delicious, so very delicious Indomie noodles. The difference is the taste.
Taste is the difference.
Yes, difference is in the taste. Nothing tastes like my Indomie.
Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
Have you ever wondered why some dynamic high-performance governments, ministries, parastatals perform better than their counterparts? The answer lies in the selection of quality workforce based on best practices in recruitment and promotion examinations. Attend the National Conference on Mainstreaming Best Practices in Public Service Examinations. Date 24th to 28th July 2017. Venue Agura Hotel, Abuja. Organized by Exam Ethics Marshals International and supported by Bureau of Public Service Reforms, Servicom, Federal Civil Service Commission, Nigeria Civil Service Union, the Nigerian Television Authority, and other agencies. For details, visit www.examethicsmarshals.org.
Thanks for staying with us. Nigeria has been enjoying Category 1 status certification after scaling the International Aviation Safety Assessment Audit in 2010 based on compliance with safety standards and procedures. Technical capability, air surveillance, air enforcement, and infrastructural development are among critical safety elements. In this background report, correspondent Emmanuel Ayimiro takes a look at the roles of stakeholders in sustaining safety and security of the nation's airspace.
Synergy is the ultimate goal towards tackling the myriad of challenges by stakeholders in the aviation sector. It is a global practice. Nigeria is not an exception. The agencies in this collaboration, and in fact leading them, is the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, which has the mandate of ensuring stipulated national laws as well as the operating principles, guidelines, and standards as encapsulated in ACAO. Others are the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, which conducts air surveillance, the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, responsible for safe, secure, and improved passengers' experience, and so many other stakeholders work together to ensure safety. With the dynamics of the industry, the federal government upgraded many facilities across the nation's airports, including the provision of instrument landing system and total radar coverage. There was also support from the United Nations on counter-terrorism, as well as the rehabilitation of Abuja Airport runway towards sustaining safety of the nation's airspace.
Two components to safety. One is the equipment, the gadgets, and the other one is the human resources. The human resources, we have them. What needs to be done will be training and training and training. We need to invest more in equipment. Modern equipment are coming out all the time. We have to update our stock of equipment.
Major incidents or accidents in the past, according to reports, were traced to technical problems involving the aircraft or pilots. The Accident Investigation Bureau shows that between 2000 and 2014, more accidents took place in the general aviation fleet than commercial aviation. So, how often is NCAA supposed to carry out oversight on chartered or commercial fleets?
Sanctions where need to be applied, they should be applied, caution or whatever that needs to be applied against any operator, including the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, including the Nigeria Airspace Management Agency. They control the airspace.
We are going to expand the cost of our surveillance abilities by leaning on new technology, the ADBS, and the multilateration, where we'll be able to cover lower layered traffic.
Other questions, such as how does the regulators ensure that airlines continue to act more responsibly to overcome avoidable crashes, as well as sanctions, the challenges of regular manpower development, and the need to be ready at all times for disaster management are posers for stakeholders to consider in order to maintain safety and security of the nation's airspace. Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
Since inception, the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, has always been the busiest and most patronized airport in the country. Stakeholders say safety is the cornerstone of all operations. Tunde Saiki reports.
The Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos was built during the Second World War and eventually named after the late military head of state of Nigeria. It has two terminals, the domestic and international, which are located 1 kilometer apart. Despite some few recorded air mishaps from and within the airport's airspace, management of the airport has always collaborated with government and other relevant agencies to ensure that lives, infrastructure and property are protected. Areas of collaboration cover critical and strategic airspace surveillance, air traffic control, airspace security and training of personnel. This partnership are needful as the aviation sector is sophisticated and dynamic and therefore demands regular attention.
Industry is such that the emphasis is always on safety, security, and then prevention of incidents or accidents.
In fact, runway-related accidents constitute one of the major areas of concern, and in an attempt to tackle this, appropriate measures are put in place like adequate lighting of the runways and the perimeter fencing of the airport. To ensure airspace safety, the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency regularly collaborates with other agencies to ensure uniformity of communication, navigational surveillance, and air traffic management, as well as infrastructure. In Lagos, Tunde Saiki, NTA News.
And in the north, the Malam Aminu Kano Airport, which holds the reputation of being the first international airport in Nigeria, is sustaining stakeholders' collaboration of the different agencies for safe and secure operations. Awal Salisu reports.
The Malam Aminu Kano International Airport is one of the oldest in Nigeria, as it commenced commercial operations in 1936. The airport is one of the busiest, with flights serving both domestic and international routes. Available records show that from January to June 2017, about 961 domestic aircraft arrived at Aminu Kano International Airport and 958 departed to various destinations. Also, 462 international aircraft arrived and departed. During the period, the airport recorded movements of 54,436 and 53,628 domestic and international passengers. Malam Aminu Kano International Airport is well equipped with navigational facilities, including very high directional range and instrument landing system to make the flight in and out of Kano easier and safer. The acting general manager, Nigerian Airspace Management Agency in the airport, Mr. Dogari Daniel, said safety is never compromised in their daily operations. He said they provide total radar coverage to ensure surveillance across the country, thereby facilitating effective communications between the controllers and pilots.
And with these facilities, we have qualified engineers that maintain these facilities and ensure they are up to date. Also, they run on 24 hours.
Some passengers at the airport expressed satisfaction with the measures put in place to ensure the safety of operations.
Everything was done on time. There were flight attendants, medical attendants, and our baggages were okay, and we are quite safe.
They however called on relevant stakeholders to improve on customer relations. In Kano, Awal Salisu reporting for Weekend 5.
And from Enugu in the east, the Kano Ibiam International Airport assumed its international standard 4 years ago after meeting up with stipulations of airspace safety. However, as Chair Governor Aro reports, some challenges still hinder large-scope air carrier operations.
An extended runway of 3 kilometers lit up with solar edge lightings installed for safe takeoff and landing. Both local and international terminals experience an influx of passengers as it is located within the commercial hub of the southeast. But on November 23, 2016, the airport suffered a major setback when its major structures were blown off following a whirlwind which NIMET described as a Cameroon wind. The General Aviation Terminal, the main terminal building, International Departure Hall, and the VIP lounge were all blown off. Efforts are, however, being made to restore the airport to its safety status as reconstruction work has taken off. However, for the Akanu Ibiam International Airport to expand its scope of safety operations, officials say the presence of a high broadcasting mast located at runway 08 of the airspace obstructs smooth navigation for bigger aircrafts in landing and takeoff. Another impediment is the location of Oye Market in Emene, which is occupying runway 26 without approach lights, thereby forcing the airport to operate only from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily for safety of passengers and aircrafts.
We do not have a permanent independent water supply, so we now make use of water tankers to go to distances, and we are actually applying an appeal to the state government to see whether they can help us in that area, and also the federal government too.
Akanu Ibiam International Airport has potentials for growth with influx of passengers from the 5 states of the southeast. In Enugu, Chiegono Aro, reporting for Weekend Fire.
Meanwhile, the Port Harcourt International Airport, Omagwa, under rehabilitation, has over time elicited criticism owing to the slow pace of work on the project. However, the authorities at the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, NAMA, say the airport is doing well, given the modern equipment installed to enhance navigational services and safety. Kingsley Amajiri reports.
The rehabilitation of Port Harcourt International Airport has spanned 2 different administrations, with work at the airport considered by many as slow and not befitting of an international airport.
Until we nip those areas, I still believe that the aviation industry will continue to face the challenges that is experienced today.
The airport once recorded a crash in the ill-fated Sosoliso crash of 2005. At the time, it was reportedly ranked by a global aviation authority as the worst airport in the world. In response to these concerns, the federal government equally responded to the agitations and concerns of air travelers with the release of additional funds to complete the phase 2 of the terminal building and runway. Notwithstanding the fiscal outlook of the terminal building at the moment, the airspace manager, Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, NAMA, at the airport, Woko Yafamifla, says what guarantees airspace safety is beyond the fiscal outlook of the airport, but the navigational equipment, constant ground and air checks, the technical expertise, and the effectiveness of the radar facilities alongside competent manpower. This, Mr. Famifla says, is effectively enforced at the airport.
The ILS is functional properly. The glass globe is functional properly. The VR is functional properly. In fact, our MD, because of creativeness, because of being a pilot and engineer, is also now trying to procure. In fact, he has already procured to install a DVR in Port Harcourt. Nigerian Airspace Management, the airspace which we control, is very safe. We have adequate manpower. We have adequate facility. We have nav aids. We have the surveillance, the radar, functioning properly.
From the Port Harcourt International Airport, Omawa, Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
We'll now take a break. Weekend Fire continues in a moment. Stay with us.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is working to ensure access to safe, good quality essential medicines with the World Health Organization pre-qualification of made in Nigeria pharmaceutical products, stiffer penalties for fake drug offenders with a review of NAFDAC laws, national, regional, and international collaborations, cutting-edge technologies, including the mobile authentication service.
NAFDAC as an agency is indeed doing so much to protect the health of our nation. I urge everyone to support NAFDAC in ridding the country of fake drugs and unwholesome products.
Let us support NAFDAC to win the war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Okay, sir. You may now go in for your interview.
Thank you.
Ah, my shoe. And to think I just bought this very expensive foreign shoe 2 months ago.
So sorry about your shoes. This is why I advise my friends to always patronize made in Nigeria products. See this shoe? It's made in Nigeria and I've had it for 2 years and it's still as good as the day I bought it.
Made in Nigeria products are good quality, and stringent government regulations and certification now mean that goods made in Nigeria meet international standards. Make the patriotic choice today. Buy right. Buy Made in Nigeria.
This is a public service announcement brought to you by NTA.
Welcome back. With me in the studios now to discuss the issues raised so far is Captain Mohammed Joji, former Managing Director, Nigeria Airways. Captain Joji, it's nice to have you on Weekend 5.
Thank you very much.
Welcome. Now, from the reports you've seen, what's your impression about safety and security in Nigeria's aviation sector?
Well, safety, first of all, we look at the mid-air collision. Airspace is being controlled. The ability to navigate and control aeroplanes safely from takeoff and route to landing. That's the actual safety. So far, so good. Now, if you look at the division of airspace, we're about 6 types of division of airspace. We only limit ourselves to our own called troposphere. We have troposphere, stratosphere, ionosphere, mesosphere, exosphere. These are division of airspace. We confine ourselves to lower airspace. These are where the control is taking place. So far, so good. Now, if I can be able to recall the mid-air collision issues, which I was talk about, which determine the safety of airspace. The first mid-air collision have taken place around 1956 worldwide. Today we have about 60 of them. But in Nigeria, we only have one according to our record. That was the one involving Nigerian aircraft with MiG in Kano. Okay. This is the record here, 1st of March 1978. And Nigerian Airways F-28, registration number is there, carrying 11 passengers and 5 crew. MiG coming to land in Kano, they collided. That was the only accident we have in mid-air collision in Nigeria. So as a testimony to our own airspace, that was the only thing we have so far so good, since the introduction of the aviation in 1925. Okay. So the airspace is it's brilliant, good, no problem on that. Now, what determines it? You have communication, navigation, and radar, as I said. These are the 3 parameters that constitute navigational facilities. If I'm flying from Kaduna to Lagos or Abuja to Lagos, air traffic controllers, they give me clearance, that's communication. I use the navigate up to Lagos. The radar will call me, touch me down. These are the 3 phases that I do. Also, there's what we call terminal control area. The largest is Kano, 70 nautical miles around the airport. Lagos, 65 nautical miles. The reason why Kano, Kano was the center of aviation before. Yeah. 377 flights take out of Lagos every month before. Kano, as you saw it. But later on, Lagos have taken over. But up to today, every aircraft that comes to Nigeria must, first of all, contact Kano. Kano, what you call flight information region. And then people don't understand. They say, why in the largest airspace still have an accident? But aeroplane fly through a corridor, remember? Take this heading, take that heading, take this heading, take that heading. As vast as the atmosphere, you are limited to a certain corridor.
All right, now, with all this explanation now, can we attain that 100% airspace safety, in times to come? Because with your explanation now, the capacity of the air traffic controllers comes to play. So what are we not doing right when we had
these, as far as we are concerned, you see, you have the man, the machine, and the environment. The pilots must be well trained. Air traffic controllers must be well trained. Engineers must be well trained. The airspace must be well maintained. The landing aids must be well maintained. So if you do that, you have a safety record. The rest you give it to God anyway. But you have to try your best. As far as we are concerned, as I said, the last time I did supervise the movement from Kaduna to Abuja, remember? We have installed a brand new instrument landing system. And it was perfectly working, excellent. First time installed by Nigerians, calibrated by Nigerians. which was excellent, really. So as far as we are concerned, that was the issue. But the issue now is that when you have a country like Nigeria with over about 191 million people, average age about 18 years. Now, the market is huge. We have a very huge market potential. If you look at the 28 European countries, 24 of them are less than the population of Nigeria, 28 of them. Throughout West Africa and Africa, we have the largest population. We have the market here, for God's sake. So people are not taking advantage of that. Unfortunately, now we have to sit down. The ministry, the airline, the banks. What do we do to enhance this advantage we have in Nigeria?
Okay, now let me take you on that. We know there has been some collaborations with some foreign institutes for manpower. How can we sustain this collaboration?
Yeah, you see, first of all, you have to take corruption out of the way. Very, very important. No 10%, no cutting corners. Everything you do must be for the benefit of the country. You are paid a salary, you are paid allowances. Don't go beyond that. Training also. You must train people. Training in aviation is very, very essential. So there must be a correlation between the airport itself, what you call the FAN, the NAMA, the NCAA. NCAA is the regulator. All of them no longer regulate themselves. 2008, there was this question of where George Bush wrote to us, before you get category 1, going to, you must have one single regulator. I've got the letter here. Let Yaradua sign, giving him undertaking. We only have NCAA to regulate the whole industry. The rest are no longer regulated. So safety so far, and that aspect of it is excellent. So far, so good.
All right. Now, let's talk about, in the preceding year, about over 50 million passengers were flown to different destinations within and outside the country. Yeah. Now we know we have some cargo airports and those who participate in mails delivery. Now, would these procedures be the same for them, or is there a special attention given to passenger airfare?
Yeah, you see, what we say, the airspace above any one country is the natural resources. Passengers come in and out. They pay what you call fee, isn't it? That is passenger service charge. That is airport tax, etc., etc. I understood there was a mistake that was made before, that airlines no longer pay royalty. It was wrong. Are you giving our oil free of charge? No. So we are trying to find out who in the government or ministry woke up and say, you are making $25 million a year. You are saying, no, you don't want that money because Europe no longer charge royalty. We are not in Europe, for God's sake. You are throwing away our money. This is what I was asking. This issue must be investigated. With this money, you can develop the system itself. So as far as you are concerned, so your question was that, yes, we can be able to correlate now the number of passengers we carry. Not so. Each international passengers pay $50. Each one of them pay $50. The mistake that people are making, they are also charging Nigerian passport holders and those who work permits. No, you don't. The law is you only charge 5,000 naira for Nigerian nationals and those on work permit or resident visa, not just universal. So as a Nigerian, what do I have in my own country, isn't it? If I'm being treated like a foreigner. I go to a foreign country, I become a foreigner. I came to Nigeria, I become a foreigner. That's not good enough.
So we have a lot to work about this. Really a lot, from regulations to administrations. Now, in your opinion, while we keep these passenger relations to the side, let's talk about airspace safety. Now, in your opinion, as a pilot, or do I say retired pilot, what other areas do you think Nigeria can explore in ensuring
airspace safety? Yes, because I've gone through the two systems. I started as an engineer, maintenance engineer, hands-on with my spanner, maintaining aeroplane. What is safety? Inspectors. First of all, we start with the inspectors, isn't it? An inspector will come, looking at how you maintain your aeroplane, the records. That inspector must be what you call hands-on inspector. An inspector who has a license to maintain aeroplane. The mistake we've been making, we are taking graduate engineers, BSc, MSc, to become I say, hang on. It's a practical issue. Let him stay in the office, but not just to come to the field and begin to look at me and tell me, how to maintain aeroplane. No, it must be hands-on. That's one of the things we want the issue to be rectified now. All the licensed engineers must take precedence over non-licensed engineers as far as maintenance is concerned. Then the pilot issue. Unfortunately, Nigerian civil aviation is no longer the way it was before. Before, 12 people only in one class. Hardly 6 will graduate. The rest will go to America and they pass. No, so we were one of the most efficient, safest, all African countries, they train with us. So what I'm asking the government to look into carefully, set up a committee to review the entire aviation master plan. It's very, very important. We are losing money, we are losing professionals. If we are not careful, safety will be another factor. Because at the moment, if we are not careful, we will be operating at what you call the fringe of safety, which we don't want to do that. So to do that, we must have qualified engineers, licensed, qualified pilots. In fact,
thank you.
Now, hang on. The next thing also, there are all pilots here in this country that have been retired. They throw them away. They should bring them as a committee. Remember, like Dele Ore, Hayes, and all those sort of things. Veteran pilots. Sit down with them. Let's look at the problem of aviation industry. These people are no longer into the system. Bring them up.
Thank you, Captain Georgie, for sharing your thoughts with us on Weekend 5. It was really nice to have you on the program.
Thank you very much.
For coming.
Thank you very much.
Acting President Yemi Osinbajo reiterated the need for Nigerians to live together in peace and unity, emphasizing that it is better to take advantage of the nation's diversity in making life more meaningful for the citizenry. Acting President Osinbajo, while inspecting facilities at the FCT 1212 Polo and Turf Club, also urged every Nigerian to make investment in the country that will be a real legacy for future generations. Status correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
Facility is this inscription, 1212.
For December 12th, which happens to be the date Abuja was adopted as the capital of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which is 12 December 1991.
The number of persons working along with Acting President Yemi Osinbajo around the facility may be above 12. The acting president says Nigerians must be committed towards the unity of the country and peaceful coexistence, as well as contributing to the nation's growth.
And if you look at this place, it's again just tells you the Nigerian story, you know, how it is that individuals, Nigerian individuals, can with so much determination, so much commitment, using their own resources, you know, and drawing, you know, from the private sector, from their experiences and their backgrounds in the private sector, to do something truly great. And I think that that's really what this is about.
Stepping on the turf and taking 1 or 2 lessons on polo and horse racing, the acting president was presented with a horse which he named a dreamer.
I just, you know, wanted to celebrate those who dream, those who have visions, by naming the horse after them. So everyone who has a dream is an alala. You know, I have a dream too, so I'm an alala. So that horse is just to celebrate those who have great dreams.
And now soon will he start riding his horse?
You know, so I'm very careful about riding horses because I don't really know how to ride a horse. But my friends have promised to teach me how to ride, so I'm in good company. I'll soon know how to ride. Yeah.
Many visitors, former heads of state and great personalities from across the world have visited this facility, and the acting president has added his name to that list of great men and women. In Abuja, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
The new boards of National Sports Federation pledged to hit the ground running as Usain Bolt shines at the IAAF Diamond League in Monaco. Dende Senli brings us details on our sports update.
Some of the newly inaugurated president of National Sports Federations have promised to hit the ground running to reposition sports in Nigeria for the next 4 years.
I was able to produce 2 athletes at the Olympic. My hope is to make 4, 6 athletes at the Olympic and from the grassroots.
The Federal Ministry of Sports have given us the guidelines, the roadmap, and we have to partner with them to encourage the athletes and to ensure that we'll positively project our federations.
I will go back and then make sure that hockey is developed and brought back on the map of Africa.
They need to have at least a minimum of 4 overs
My colleagues and I have put that forward as a front burner issue within the first 2 years.
Action continues in the 2016-2017 Nigerian Professional Football League season with Week 31 fixtures set for Sunday. Plateau United will aim to maintain the lead on the table with a win against Lobby Stars in Makodi. FC Ifeanyiba welcome Gombe United to Nnewi, while El Kanemi Warriors of Maiduguri travel to Akure to play against Sunshine Stars. Meanwhile, the battle for survival continues for ABS, Gombe United, Remo Stars, who are currently at the bottom of the table. Jamaica's Usain Bolt once again proved that he is the man to beat, as apart from a poor start to run the season's best of 9.95 seconds to win the men's 100 meters at the Monaco Diamond League Friday.
Jansu going well right over here, and here comes Usain Bolt, or is he going to win it? Bolt's going to get it! Bolt wins it from Isaiah Young, and that is better.
United States' Isaiah Young came second in 9.98 seconds, while South Africa's Akani Sembene finished third in 10.02 seconds. With Sports Update, Dende Sani, NTA News.
Acting President Yemi Osinbajo says he is saddened by the news of the passing of Dr. Olu Onagorowa, former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, and extends heartfelt condolences to the Onagorowa family, his friends and associates on behalf of the government and people of Nigeria. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Laulu Akonde, in a statement says Acting President Osinbajo also condoles with the government and people of Ogun State, the Nigeria Bar Association, as well as the human rights community. The Acting President reflected on the life and times of Dr. Olu Onagorowa, an ardent advocate of the rule of law and constitutionalism, reflected a combination of profound knowledge in the practice of law, courage in the faith, states that as a lawyer, Onagorowa served the oppressed and gave voice to the voiceless, not minding the costs and sacrifices that went with such onerous duties. And next is a quick check on the weather prospects for Sunday.
Welcome to the weather forecast. We expect thundery activities over the coast in the morning, laced with light rains and drizzle. This rain should extend to parts of Ondo, Osun State, and Ado Ekiti. A few thunderstorms are likely over Kebbi, Sokoto, Katsina, Kano, Jigawa, Yobe, and the northern parts of Bauchi State. A few rain clouds may be observed over the central cities, and as we move into the afternoon stroke evening period, we expect light rains accompanied and parts of the northwestern flank of the country, while the northeast warms up for rainfall activities. Stay tuned for more updates from the Nigerian Meteorological Agency. I remain Onyilo Desmond.
Before we go, a quick reminder that you can watch all our stories and much more when you log on to our website, www.nta.ng. And that does it on the show tonight. Thanks for your time. Do keep a date with us next Saturday. I'm Isaac Nkuma. Good night.
Tank.
Hold on, please. Let me calm down.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Hope you've rubbed off your meter.
Oh, Oga, we no longer tamper with our fuel dispense meter because it is cheating and corruption. I will always sell fuel to all customers at the correct amount because change begins with me.
Nice one.
Yes, how much, Oga?
Fill up.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Oh boy, climb this thing now. Not be only to connect lights.
Come you and yourself now.
Now wow. Oh boy, come down now. Oga Kasali electrician, who would they look for with this? Oh, Oga Kasali, come help us fix this wire now.
Sorry, I no longer carry out illegal connection. It puts the lives of people at risk and can cause fire outbreak and disrupt power supply. I will never be part of anything that has to do with this any longer because change begins with me.
Oh boy, letting him talk makes sense. Oh boy, we could carry this ladder from over.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Oga, open your water tank.
Hold on, please. Let me calm down.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Hope you've rubbed off your meter.
Oh, Oga, we no longer tamper with our fuel dispense meter because it is cheating and corruption. I will always sell fuel to all customers at the correct amount because change begins with me.
Nice one.
Yes, how much, Oga?
Fill up.
This message is brought to you by the National Orientation Agency in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria, unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Baby, please now.
School days are not for marrying. Marrying on campus in a marriage that is not a marriage.
Is she married? Which marriage?
An ill-timed union that breeds domestic violence, use, distractions, and heartbreak.
And if she graduates and leaves me here, I will take another wife.
You're what my father would call a rolling stone shenanigan.
Do not shoulder responsibilities of married life before it is time. Professor John Bull, Episode 2, Season 4, Campus Marriage.
Waiting with this now? Now you me they choose up your destiny. Oh yeah, bring two. Which one? That one like your gaki leg and that one like Udo's forehead.
Over and out.
Brought to you by Glow,
the largest data network.
welcome to Saturday Night with your host, Elizabeth Omori. He left Jos to Lagos to strengthen his musical career. Somewhere along the line, he registered and was selected as one of the housemates of the 2017 edition of the Big Brother Naija TV reality show. The Delta-born is a rapper, performer, and an epitome of talent. Our guest tonight is down to earth, a man of the people whose fan base skyrocketed within a very, very short time. Going by his acts and performances, I must tell you, he's fun to be with. Who is he? Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching Saturday Night on Africa's largest television network, the NTA. Our guest is currently the ambassador for entertainment in Plateau State. He was appointed by the state government after his appearance in Big Brother Naija TV reality show. He never makes a statement without using the phrase, based on logistics. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Efe Ejeba, winner Big Brother Naija 2017. Efe.
Yes, sir.
It's nice to have you.
Nice to have
Worry.
you too.
All right, so why did housemates call you Worry then?
It's just a normal thing. How will I put it now? It's a way of gingering your spirit, of uplifting yourself. Or even when you're down, you say worry. It's just a way of motivating yourself to feel good and to move on to the next level if you had anything bad previously. So that was why we were always shouting. I was shouting worry, and because even the other housemates, you understand when you see